snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. It's the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to The Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews.
Except this week, we don't have Ben Hansen. I thought that for a second I was going to be alone this week. However, I do have a special guest coming along today. It's going to be awesome. Matt, welcome back to the show. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Can't
I'm
hear you.
excited
I
to
don't know
talk
what's
ball
going
with
on.
you.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. But yes, I have. So Ben was experiencing a couple network connectivity issues, and so as a result, we have his picks in. I'm actually getting them now for Pigskin Pick'em. We will be doing just teams because Ben's not giving me a score or anything like that. So as a result, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But I think Matt might be. Matt, are you there, buddy? Okay, wait.
Yeah, I am there. I am here.
There we go. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe it was just me, just because my volume's really high and my ringtone keeps going off on my computer. It's because he keeps texting me individual picks. So great. I think it's done now. But anyways, Matt, welcome back. How are you feeling?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk ball. What? Both of our teams are miserable right now?
But mine's more miserable than yours. Let me just tell you. Come on. At least you've got to win.
That's true. That's true. They're the ugliest of the season. You guys are averaging more points than the Saints are this year, so I'll give you that.
Which is insane, right? If you think about it, no, yeah, you guys should absolutely have a better
we should be able
offense.
to score more than 20 points, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah, I know.
Anyways, so yeah, let's dive into weekly review. So essentially, as normal, we always talk about my team and how we did. Unfortunately, we have a loss this week, 49-0. Wasn't pretty at all. Wasn't really the most fun week by any means. We're looking to kind of rebound this week. I don't want to discredit our opponent by any means, so I think that it's going to be a lot closer. I'm really excited to see what happens here, but I'm just going to keep it short and sweet there. That's it for that. Let's go ahead and move straight into our scores here. The Lions beat the Packers 34-20. That one was probably the most fun football game I've watched in a while. Jaguars beat the Falcons 23-7. Rams beat the Colts 29-23. Ravens beat the Browns 28-3. Vikings beat the Panthers 21-13. Titans beat the Bengals 27-3. Buccaneers beat the Saints 26-9. Bills beat the Dolphins 48-20. Broncos beat the Bears 31-28. Not surprised. Eagles beat the Commanders 34-31. Texans beat the Steelers 30-6. Chargers beat the Raiders 24-17. 49ers beat the Cardinals 35-16. Cowboys beat the Patriots 38-3. Chiefs beat the Jets 23-20 in what could be the most rigged game I think I've ever seen. And then the Seahawks beat the Giants 24-3. Let's just talk briefly about it really quick, just because I just made that ridiculous remark. So you watched more of the Chiefs and Jets game than I did, okay? So you got to see some pretty bad calls left and right. I mean, what are your takes on it? Do you think that this is, do you think it's slightly rigged at least? Is it it's not predetermined, but is it rigged in a way? What do you think?
It's one of those things where like I watched the game and there was so many times like Patrick Mahomes just like wanted the game to keep going. Like I feel like he was playing those he was just throwing the ball and doing dumb things because he was like, "Oh, I'm playing Zach Wilson," and then it got down to the nitty gritty, and that holding, it's one of those ticky tack calls. Like if it's called in the first quarter, you're probably like, "All right, whatever," but because it's that high magnitude of the moment, you don't want to see that called. I don't know. It's kind of like the Super Bowl, and how the Super Bowl was called. Like, what was it? Was it holding on James Bradbury? I don't know, but they called it in that moment, so it kind of just ends the game in a rough way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty disappointing for Jets fans especially, who's going through and facing a lot of adversity so far this year. So I mean, let's go ahead and dive right in to our first segment here as we get started with the rest of the show.
Ryan and Ben bring you weekly news.
Except, like I said before, it's still not Ben. So, anyways, Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor are both looking to make a return soon. Jonathan Taylor was a full participant in today's practice and could play this week. That's good for you, Matt, because you're a Jonathan Taylor owner in fantasy. Cooper Kupp is designated to return in the next 3 weeks, but no signs point to him being 100% for Sunday. So, what's your point of view as far as being a Jonathan Taylor owner? Does this mean he could be moved soon? I mean, we're coming to the point to where, the trade deadline is approaching. This is something teams are starting to think about as we kind of dive into weekly news a little bit more. I mean, adding him to this Dolphins offense would be electric, but is that something on your mind as you're managing your fantasy team?
I think from an NFL standpoint, like he has to play to get moved. Remember last year, Christian McCaffrey was playing for the Panthers and got moved for what equivalent of a first-round pick. I think so many teams are so hesitant to offer that because they haven't seen him play and they don't know if he's fully healthy. And I think as a running back, he needs to play because he wants to get paid. So it's kind of the Colts aren't bad. Everyone in the South is 2-2 right now. So everything is wide open, and adding Jonathan Taylor to an Anthony Richardson-led offense, I feel like it only benefits Jonathan Taylor, really. So I think he's going to stick it out and play. I think his intentions haven't changed. I bet he wants to be traded by the end of the month at the deadline. But if he's not, is it the worst thing in the world for either party? Probably not.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I mean, you're looking at a team that desperately needs to get the run game going a little bit more. Zach Moss is making a little bit of noise, but it's not Jonathan Taylor worth in terms of noise. I traded away Cooper Kupp today, looking at a return, trying to capitalize on a little bit of value in a desperate spot. For those of you that are trying to keep track of it at least a little bit, we're in a 2-quarterback league, and both of my quarterbacks, Justin Herbert and Geno Smith, were on bye. So I traded Ben for Jordan Love and Drake London, and I gave him Cooper Kupp and Jordan Addison. I probably lost that trade just a little bit, but who knows? Looking at what's next, the Panthers are looking to trade for a true wide receiver one. I know a lot of people, at least on Bears Twitter, is like, you can have washed up Chase Claypool. However, the Bears have made Chase Claypool available for trade, and multiple teams believe he'll be released. Looking into the wide receiver, room and who's available as well. We're hearing that, Cortland Sutton, as well as what's his name? The other guy, Jerry Jeudy, are going to be moved. They're not going to be moved, but have been, asked about in this conversation for the Panthers wide receiver one. They're trying to help out Bryce Young a little bit more. Are there any other wide receivers that come to name that could potentially be moved going in and looking at the trade deadline this year?
You talk about just the trade deadline or the offseason? Because
just the trade deadline.
There's a guy in Cincinnati that I think is going to be available. I'm saying that now, but at the deadline probably not, because I think Cincinnati will turn it around. But yeah, you make a great point with Jeudy and Sutton. Marvin Mims has really flashed for that team, so I think there would be an okay with moving on because, I mean, the team wants to be bad, clearly. So I could see something, but it's hard for me to believe that the Panthers are going to make a big swing like this because, besides the draft, because they don't have first-round capital this year, and no, they have their 2025, but they don't have a second this year. I don't know all the details perfectly, but they just don't have high-end capital to make a big move for a wide receiver one right now, at least. That makes sense. I think you just got to stick it out with Thielen and DJ Chark and hope Mingo, who they drafted in the second round, comes along. Kind of
I mean, we're looking at, the really just meat of this, rebuild for the Panthers. They think that they've got their quarterback, which is really funny in hindsight, just because you and I both know that Frank Reich really wanted C.J. Stroud. At least that was the rumor, right?
It always seemed like it. It always seemed like
looking at that and how it kind of panned out a little bit, Bryce Young doesn't look like the guy that everybody thought he would, except for me. I think I called that. But anyways, we don't have to talk about that. So, looking into that and trying to figure out what to do in the Panthers, point of view, Brian Burns needs a contract, and it doesn't look like the Panthers are willing to designate that money as of right now and dedicate it straight to him. Is that another player that we can at least think about maybe getting moved in the near future? Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be a bear move. I'll definitely hype it up in our group chat. But, what I will say is that, there are several other teams that are looking at pass rushers right now, in need of that. And Brian Burns is definitely somebody that's worth noting in that conversation. Do you think he could get moved?
I think I'm not going to say nobody can get moved, but I think they need to be wise and realize they need players, and they need to maximize on the Bryce Young contract. That's the reason you do half the trade that you did. Like, it's to get that contract for 4 to 5 years so you can pay a guy like Brian Burns $30 million for the next 3 years and be like, well, we overpaid for the guy, but we have the money to spend because our quarterback is dirt cheap. So at a point it becomes, I would rather have players than picks because we know what players are and we don't know what picks are.
Gotcha. Yeah, I completely agree. It's definitely interesting, definitely something to monitor from here on out. Next up, Patriots D lineman Matthew Judon and cornerback Christian Gonzalez are both out for the rest of the season. As a result, just to aid that just a little bit more, the Chargers have traded cornerback J.C. Jackson to the Patriots for a 2025 late-round pick swap. I think this is an absolute steal. J.C. Jackson is still pretty good. Great grab for the Patriots here, just for the rest of the season to try and kind of recoup. Unfortunately, this doesn't, fix their quarterback situation, as we both know that Mac Jones is just not panning out very well. But, this is just great altogether. We talked a little bit off stream, and, off air is what word I was trying to use. We both kind of agree it's a pretty good move. I'm going to go ahead and move on just a little bit because we still have a lot of stuff to cover. Texans tackle Titus Howard, say that 5 times fast, will return this week after a hand injury, and Bills corner Tre'Davious White tore his Achilles in Sunday's victory over the Dolphins, ending his season yet again with another leg injury. That's pretty tough for that Bills team as they go on to London to take on the Jaguars. That one's going to be really interesting, just because the Jaguars just seem to be the fan favorite over there. But let's go ahead and move on to a segment that I'm really interested in talking with you about, because you have no idea what my picks are here, and this will be fun.
They say winning isn't everything, and that may be true in some cases, but right now, let's make some money. It's time for Pigskin Payout.
All right, so Pigskin Payout. So last week, I think that we did pretty good. Okay, so I didn't chalk it up for Sunday. Let me go ahead and look at this really quick. So for Thursday, we went 1 for 2 or 1 for 3, and that's not really the start that we wanted, but it's okay. For Sunday, we said over 43 total points Falcons at Jaguars. That did not hit. Over 54 or under 54 total points Dolphins at Bills. That one also did not hit. And over 45.5 total points Broncos at Bears. That one I believe did hit. Yes. And then Buccaneers plus 3.5 at Saints. That one did hit as well. So Sunday hit, not really too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. 3 for 7 isn't really great. So we're looking to kind of improve this week here. Starting off with Thursday Night Football. Now, Matt, I don't know if you've listened to this segment or not, but basically what we're going to be doing here, since I know that you legally cannot bet, you're just going to tell me whether or not you agree with these and, if you would recommend that people follow this. So starting off, Justin Fields over 193.5 passing yards against the Commanders here. Brian Robinson over 65.5 rushing yards. Justin Fields over half of an interception, so just one wins you that one. And then Sam Howell, 200 plus passing yards in the alternate category. What do you think for the Thursday night slate?
I like it. It's a nice little parlay. What are the odds on that? Probably
So-
getting 4-1.
So I would say approximately. Yeah, I haven't really put down the full odds of like a parlay or something in this, but I will say this is something that I definitely like for the Thursday night. I will kind of look at this really quick. But yeah, I mean, is there anything that you're not feeling as comfortable with?
I mean, Fields' passing yards is always going to be a weird one, but I feel like they're probably set to be down. I think, as a mind of a bettor, you're thinking how the game's going to go, and you're expecting the Bears to be down. He's got to be passing. You're expecting the Commanders to be up and running the ball, but Sam Howell still throws for his 200 yards. I mean, I enjoy it. I like it. Let's have some fun. I'd throw the over 44.5 on there too.
Yeah, so Justin Fields over 193.5 is minus 115. Over 65.5 rushing yards for Brian Robinson is minus 115 as well. Over half of an interception for Fields is minus 135, and 200 plus passing yards for Sam Howell is minus 390 for a full parlay of 600 or plus 650. So for those of you that don't know. Yeah, you'll get 75 if you bet 10 on that. Next up for our Sunday and Monday games. So just to kind of break it down for anybody that's unfamiliar as well. So Thursday night, they get kind of, let it be a little bit more detailed just because we're closer to game time. Whereas Sunday and Monday games, this is strictly just either spread or over-under for points or money line. So we're looking at over 38 total points for the Ravens versus Steelers game. Over 41 total points Texans at Falcons as well. I will say as well Texans plus 2 is the spread there. And then Eagles at Rams is, I would say, under 50.5 total points between the two. The odds right now, so over 38 for the Ravens at Steelers is minus 110. Over 41 for the Texans at Falcons is minus 112. Texans plus 2 is minus 110, and under 50.5 is minus 105. For a 4-pick parlay of plus 1189. So 10 wins you 128.96 if you guys are looking to do that. So, I mean, I'm confident in that as well. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't talk about it on the show. But, I think that this is good. Is there anything that's maybe iffy in that, or what do you like or don't like?
I was just scrolling through, looking at spreads, kind of thinking myself. I think that Jaguars-Bills game, Bills 5.5. I don't love that. Coming off a game where I love the Jaguars. It's a London game. They've already been over there for a week longer than the Bills. Buffalo just came off beating the Dolphins, just actually hammering them down. You mentioned Texans plus 2. Love it. I can't can't get enough of it. I think I have a little game to play with you at the end.
What's
here.
that?
There are 3 quarterbacks who have not thrown an interception this year, and I want to see how many you can name. They're fun.
Ooh.
You got to think
okay.
outside the box to get them. It's fun.
For some reason, I want to say like Jared Goff is one of them.
He is not one of them.
He's not? Okay. If I get like 5 consecutive wrong, okay, we'll exit out of Pigskin Payout here and just kind of take a short little break to play this game here.
Yeah.
How many? You said there are 5?
There are 3 quarterbacks who have not thrown
3
an
starting.
interception. And, yeah, 3 starters, because Minshew was one of them too.
CJ Stroud, has he thrown one?
Yes, he is one of them.
Okay. He's one of them. Okay.
He's one of them. Yeah.
Let's see. I think Trevor Lawrence has, right?
Yep.
Let's see. For some reason, I want to say Justin Herbert.
Nope. He has
No.
thrown one. The 2 teams are like polar opposites. It's awesome.
Ooh, okay. As Josh Dobbs?
Josh Dobbs is one of them. He has not thrown an interception this season.
Wow. Okay. I'm not. Part of me wants to say Desmond Ridder, but I don't think so. I think he's definitely.
Did you not
thrown
watch
an
the London
interception.
game? Oh, he had.
I didn't.
Rough London ones.
That's bad. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Just breaking this down. Is Derek Carr?
Oh yeah, Derek Carr's thrown one. Yeah.
Okay.
Think polar opposite. I think polar opposite of the Cardinals.
Polar opposite. So
You'll get it.
Dak Prescott?
Nope. He's thrown one.
Yeah. Of course he has.
You're close.
Close. He said Jalen Hurts. No, he has.
Yeah, he has. If this is the
Polar
easiest one.
Tua?
Nope. He threw one against. Are you done? Do you give up?
No. Brock Purdy?
Yep. There it is. You got it.
Yeah. Wow. There we
So
go.
the 3 quarterbacks who have not thrown an interception this year are C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, and Josh Dobbs, as we all predicted.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and start with our very next segment here. Just kind of segueing into that.
Just when you thought it was safe to play the underdog, we put you on Upset Alert.
All right. So this one's great. You could scroll through the matchups and see, or like if you want, you could just tell me if you agree or not. But I've got 4 games this week that could potentially end in an upset. I might not pick these, but I might. You never know. Jags versus Bills in London. Jags. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'll go on record to say that the Jags' home field advantage is better in London than it is in Jacksonville. This is insane, and I mean, Jacksonville really showed out for that playoff game too, but like those London folk must have really went crazy. Next up, Colts versus Titans, and I want to preface this by saying as well, every one of these teams that I'm picking is the first one that I'm naming, and they're all listed as underdogs on DraftKings. So, yeah, Colts versus Titans. I think the Colts could pull that one out easily. Texans versus Falcons. No clue why the Texans aren't favored here. I think that the Texans are the better team right now. But it's going to be tight, and I'm really excited to see that one, especially because my Bears aren't going to be playing, and I'll actually be able to appreciate other teams this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Cardinals versus Bengals. I mean, it's whether or not the Bengals get back on track against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are very competitive out of nowhere. So, like, they might be able to pull it off. Who knows? But, yeah, I mean, who would have thought, really quick, before we move on to, what you think about these. I mean, the Cardinals – trading with the Texans for the Texans' first-round pick, right? I mean, who would have thought that the Cardinals would be in a position to where they might not have 2 top 10 draft picks just because of how good these teams look? I mean, like, they're competitive. There's a chance that they fall out of the top 10, both of them. So, I mean, if I'm the GM, I'm a little bit upset at that, but not really at the same time. Let's see. Yeah, pretty much, right? Ryan times 2 is an awesome duo. I don't know what you mean. Yeah. All right, Mom. Yeah, it's cool. Anyways, my mom commented, "Let's get it, boys. Missing Ben," but Ryan times 2 is an awesome duo. Everybody can see Matt. I don't know what she's talking about. But anyways, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Bears own 2 top 5 picks. I think that's pretty cool. But I mean, anyways, it's awesome. But yeah, what do you think about these upsets? What do you think? Are all these plausible?
Yeah, I mean the Cardinals one is like just referencing your Cardinals point, like yeah, like the Texans and Cardinals had every reason to be 2 of the bottom 5 teams in the NFL, and both of them are showing out. Both of them have a quarterback who's not turning the ball over, and I think that shows the kind of controlled aggression that they have in their team. Like the Cardinals offense, I was watching the Cardinals offense after watching the Saints game on Sunday, and I'm like, this team is real. Like this is a real offense that's moving the ball consistently. And I hate this because we paid, $40 million for Derek Carr, and the Cardinals got Josh Dobbs for a 5th-round pick 2 days before the season started, or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but the
Insane.
upset picks, I'm scrolling through. I have 2 picks I like.
Okay.
Steelers outright money line. They're +4. Steelers Ravens is probably the best rivalry in football to me of my lifetime, because the over-under set at 38, and this game's gonna be 18-17, punchy in the mouth, and I think Baltimore's due for a letdown like they did against Cincinnati. They went into Cincinnati, beat Cincinnati, came back home and lost to the Colts. Now they have a great game against the Browns. Now they have to go to Pittsburgh. It's just one of those games. I was going to reference the Cardinals. You already referenced that. And then Cowboys-Niners. If anyone has any single player that can stop this Brock Purdy movement as I scream and yell at the top of my lungs, it's Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons could wreak havoc on this football game, and Brock Purdy could turn into a pumpkin. We don't know. So I love the Dallas +4, even if it's on the road in San Francisco. I think Dallas, we forget, like, the one game, the one hiccup against the Cardinals. They're still a top 3 team. The Niners are probably number 1. So I think either team could win that game.
Solid point. Let's go ahead and move on to Pigskin Pick'em, because I have I have Ben's full picks in just in time for this. So here we go.
You think you know football? Well, prove it. This is Pigskin Pick'em.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. Last week I was 9-7, not a great showing. Ben was 11-5, adding on to his lead. He has a 7-game lead on me. I am 37-27, and he is 44-20. Great start for him, man. Happy for him. Hope that he fails this week.
You got to start finding some games. You got to start finding some games where you guys are kind of like even on, and you just got to go against the grain just to try and cut that lead.
Trust me, man. I've been trying, and it's not working.
It's not hitting.
So, anyways, overall, yeah, like I said. Oh no, I already said that. So moving on, Thursday Night Football, Bears at Commanders. This absolute dumpster fire of a primetime game. So I have the Commanders winning 28-23, and Ben has the Commanders winning outright. He doesn't have a score for his, so Matt, who do you have here? What are you thinking? Thursday night.
Should I go against the grain? No, I'm gonna go with the Commanders. I think the Commanders D-line eats in this game, and I think they get it done. The Commanders are gonna win.
Okay, unfortunately, whatever. Is Matt Eberflus fired after the game? Little prop bet, that'd be really cool.
Ooh, what? Get some plus odds on that.
Yeah, I would throw like $10 on there. But anyway, London game, Jaguars versus Bills. I have the Bills winning 28-24. Ben also has the Bills. Are you picking the favorite? I mean, I guess favorite, just because, locals. Jaguars taking this one. What do you think?
I'm taking the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are going to win outright. It's something about Buffalo that, like, I think it's just a letdown game. I think they got the one they wanted. They manhandled the Dolphins to really let everyone know we're here. And I think Calvin Ridley's gonna exploit that Trey White injury because
I was on the same page as you right there. Saints at Patriots. I have the Saints winning 21-20 in another sweat show of a of a game. And then Ben has the Saints winning as well. What do you think?
jeez, man, you guys have a lot of trust in the Saints. Derek Carr and Mac Jones. I have to watch this on Sunday. It's beautiful. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I think the Saints, like, if it's a defensive masterpiece as we think it's gonna be, I think it favors the team that's healthier, and the Saints are healthier right now. But bet the under. The under's at 40. That's some pretty good odds. Neither one of these teams can score 20 points, and now you're betting that both of them are going to score about 20 points.
If there's ever a game to do it, it's right now. Just letting you know.
Yeah, it is. It is, but it's not going to happen.
Titans at Colts. I have the Colts winning 20-17, and Ben has just the Colts as well. What do you think?
I'm going to go with the Titans. I know I'm going against my Bills thing, but, like, the Titans were awesome against the Bengals. Like, they were really, really good. And if that's what they're going to do to teams, they're just going to pummel you inside and not let you run the ball or let you get anything going. I think it's a wrap. I'm going to go with the Titans here.
I almost went with the Titans on that one as well, just because, like, it looked like King Henry just reigned supreme over the Colts in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that is true.
But who knows? If Jonathan Taylor's coming back like it all says that he will be, I mean, at some point in time, if you're the Titans, you got to figure out what you're game planning for. Is it Anthony Richardson? That running game should be pretty awesome, right? Mm-hmm. You have, Michael Pittman as well that could make flashes as well. It's just too good for me, and I'm excited to see what that offense can do. Next up, Ravens at Steelers. I have the Ravens winning 21-13. Ben has the Ravens. Matt, I'm assuming your Steelers pick from Upset Alert is staying put here.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep the Steelers. I think it's just, again, this is gonna be one where, like, you can't take your eyes off because it's so ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good ugly. The Saints and Patriots on at the same time is going to be a bad ugly. These two teams just don't like each other, and they're going to punch each other in the mouth. It's going to be a great one. I'm looking forward to this game. I love Ravens Steelers every year.
Panthers at Lions. I have the Lions winning 30-21. Ben has the Lions. I'm just going to change my score prediction really quick. It's going to be 30-17. Anyway, yeah. What are you thinking? Lions here as well?
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions. They had the little mini bye, you know, when you play a Thursday night game. The Panthers look inept on offense at times with Bryce Young. The Lions look awesome too. Like,
they do.
Wrong. I'll be
What's
wrong
really
with the Lions.
What's really weird is that, like, as a Bears fan, I'm kind of rooting for Detroit right now, just because they're doing everything that we should be doing right now, but are not. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's fun to watch a team succeed that hasn't succeeded.
People are really mad they're not using Jahmyr Gibbs as a full-time back, by the way.
Yeah, you know, I was, and then I traded him away, so it doesn't matter to me. Texans at Falcons. Me and Ben both have the Texans winning. I have them winning 24-17. What do you think, Matt?
I'm just going against you guys. I think the Falcons are going to win this. I think it's a bummer for me to say this. I hope he doesn't, but I feel like we're due for a CJ Stroud little comeback to earth game, and I think the Falcons at home, they just control the clock so well, like the way they did in week 1 and week 2. I don't know. I think they're gonna be one of those teams that they're like 6-2, 7-2 at home this year, but they can't win a road game. You know,
weird.
They'll be around at the end. That's just kind of how I feel about them. I don't like picking the Falcons against CJ Stroud. You know what? No, I'm taking the Texans.
There you go. So let's see. Giants at Dolphins. I think we're all on the same page here. Dolphins should be taking this one pretty easily. I have them winning 38-10. Ben has them winning. Matt, are you along the same lines?
Yeah, I mean, the
Giants.
I don't know how the Dolphins are only favored by 11. Really. I feel like this should be like 13.5. I think this is a 2-touchdown better team. We just watched the last time they played in Miami. They scored 70 freaking points, and
Yep.
the Giants and Broncos are debated to be one of the worst teams, right? They're kind of in the same tier right now. So yeah, I love the Dolphins.
Bengals at Cardinals. I have the Bengals winning 23-20, correcting all the mistakes. Ben has the Bengals as well. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to take the Bengals. I know I shouldn't hype up the Cardinals just to take the Bengals, but they got to get it right at some point. Like, this defense needs to have a game where they really just impose their will, you know?
Yeah.
That defense is just they haven't been good, frankly, period. But
yeah.
I think against the Cardinals, they're going to run some gimmicky option plays with Dobbs and things like that, but if you can really hammer it home, I think you can win this game.
Eagles at Rams. I have the Eagles winning 27-21. Ben picked against his favorites, ending the streak. Rams will be winning this one, according to Ben. Matt, who are you agreeing with?
I'm taking the Eagles. The Eagles they're just gonna keep winning until they have this trap card that they can play anytime they want, and it's just, we're gonna run the ball every single time for 6 yards, and you can't do anything about it. And I hate it so much, but it's just gonna work again, even if the other team has Aaron Donald. So I'm taking the Eagles.
It's gonna be impressive. Yeah, that tush push against the Rams, that'll be fun. Jets at Broncos. Jets at Broncos. This one should be fun. The Jets, I mean, really put a close fight up with the Chiefs. I have the Jets winning 27-20. Ben has the Broncos winning. Matt,
Wow.
What do you think?
You said the Jets are scoring 27 points?
I do. Yeah, Zach Wilson balled out last week, man. It's fun.
Wilson's back.
I think it's more so the defense that's going to score, though, picking off Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson
Sauce Gardner
versus
pick
Wilson.
6.
I'm gonna take the Broncos. I think the Broncos are right. I think this means something to Sean Payton, and let me tell you, when Sean Payton cares about something, he hits it home. He called out Nat Hackett. He called out Rodgers. He said the last guys don't know what they were doing. I know what I'm doing. He's not gonna let Zach Wilson and the Jets walk into his house and beat him. That's just. I think he's going to show out in front of the Walmart people and win this one for Denver.
Yeah.
In a
Certified Walmart guy
classic, here. 13-10.
Chiefs at Vikings. I have the Chiefs winning this one 28-17. Ben has the Chiefs as well. Matt, what do you think? Vikings pulling this off?
Man. Oof. Like, I don't know. It's hard because I don't know what to read into. I don't know if the Chiefs are just, like, are the Chiefs bad? Ooh. But, like, the Vikings haven't been bad. The Vikings aren't too bad. I'm going to take the Chiefs, though. I'm going to take Mahomes against Kirk Cousins. That's really the only reason I'm doing that.
Fair. Yeah, that's really it, too, for me.
That's all.
Cowboys at 49ers. Ben and I both have the 49ers. I have them winning 38-27. Matt, this is close.
I can't quit the Cowboys. I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it until they lose again. I'm not going to be able to quit them. I'm taking the Cowboys. I think Micah Parsons is going to wreak havoc. I do think this is going to be one of those games. He's all over the football field, and they force some fumbles. I don't know.
Okay.
That feeling.
Packers at Raiders. I have the Packers winning 23-13. Ben has the Packers as well. This sucks. I feel like Ben and I are really agreeing on a lot here. I'm going to count up. Give me your prediction. I'm going to count up exactly how many we disagreed on here as you do that.
I don't even know who the Raiders are playing at quarterback, if it's Aiden O'Connell again, the rookie, or if it's Jimmy G. So I'm just going to go with the Packers. The Packers played on Thursday, and now they get to play on Monday. How is that fair? But, yeah, I'm going to take the Packers. I think Jordan Love gets it done in the very, average way that he has.
Thank you. Yes.
That was a dig. That was a dig.
I love it. I love it. So, all right. So we're at the point in the show to where normally we would move on to Ben's College Corner. Obviously, College Corner is canceled this week because Ben is not a part of the show. So instead, Matt and I have a very clear message for anybody that wants to hate on Justin Fields, anybody that wants to talk about the Bears and exactly what their problem is. Matt, please just take the words out of my mouth. What are we thinking?
Matt Eberflus, what are you doing, dude? What, can we talk about the 4th and 1 for a minute? I assume we're just talking about this last week, right?
I was talking about them as a whole and how the coaching staff is the main problem and it's not Fields, but we can absolutely talk about Fields' whole awesome performance and the greatest game he's ever played, and then on top of that, the fact that the coaching staff is the most incompetent fools I've ever seen try and run a football team. But yeah, go ahead.
It's just one of those things where even the analytics people, you can't blame, everyone wants to be the person to yell and shake their fists in the air and go, "Oh, math, it's ruining football." The number said to kick the field goal on the 4th and 1, and instead he ran a zone read. I don't get the call. You're a defensive guy. You don't trust your defense in that spot against Russell Wilson. Don't love it.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. They were moving the ball so effortlessly for 3 quarters, it felt like, for 2.5 to 3 quarters. And it all just stopped. It just stopped, and it just all switched up again. I think it was one of those games where, it was one of those weeks I want to lump in Zach Wilson. I feel like Fields and Wilson just got their confidence back. It just feels like we know the physical talent they have. It's just, it's a mind game half the time with this. C.J. Stroud, look at him. He's exuding confidence right now. Bryce Young, he's not. It's just, it's one of those things. It's a mind game.
It's huge for Fields this week just because he showed what he's capable of. The interception and the fumble did not – I don't want to fault him for that. For anybody that watched the game, there was a little bit of a miscommunication. That happens in football. If you want to add that to a stat line, whatever. But the fumble and everything, that's on the line. That's on the play call. It's something they do very, very frequently that makes zero sense. You talk about the coaching staff and how stupid they are sometimes. I've been saying this. I've been saying it. And it's ever since week 2. Week 1 was just an absolute meltdown of what the heck is going on. Week 2 was, all right, let's actually pick this apart and see what's going on. Matt and I, for those of you that didn't know, sat down in my room for about 2 hours talking about film and going over it and everything. And we both agreed that this is absolutely the coaching staff. Then they went and played Kansas City and got completely just outcoached and outplayed.
Again,
nobody expected them to win.
That game, you're going through all the off-field stuff I've never even seen before.
Unbelievable.
We're talking about the rumors of Hallis Hall getting raided because of the defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator resigns the same week. Come on.
The same day that the rumors originated.
Things just going on, and it's just that game I throw out the window. And then he has an absolutely unbelievable performance against the Broncos, and at the end of the game he tried to make a play. I'm just gonna, but this is one of those games. This Thursday, it's gonna decide how the public views him the rest of the year, because you see how Josh Allen played on Monday Night Football against the Jets. Everyone ruled him out. That guy's now the MVP front runner. It's primetime games are worth 3 normal games. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing else on. This is the only game I can go on Twitter and comment about. So people are louder, of course. So I think that's what it's gonna be. If Fields looks anxious and he's running around not making plays, everyone's going to be, oh, dude, he sucks. He's so bad. He's just not good. But
Yeah.
the Commanders' D-line's really, really good. The Commanders went toe-to-toe with the Eagles in Philly, almost beat them. Should have beat them. I'll say that.
Yeah. So, and another point that I had to make on today's podcast was that, so everybody wants to talk about Caleb Williams. First off, let me just add this before I say this: we are not a quarterback away from being a contender. This team has so many more holes to where this is such a valuable and important draft to where we need to capitalize in this, and not just one way but two. And the first way is drafting Caleb Williams number 1 overall. That rumor that was thrown out by his dad saying that he would go back to school, I could promise you Caleb Williams would play in Chicago. I would absolutely promise you that, because a healthy offensive line, this offensive line isn't horrible if they're all on the same page. I will say that they're not great, but they're not bottom tier like they were last year. And what kind of rookie wouldn't want to step into this kind of receiving core as we speak right now? We're talking DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney. Like, I'm just saying it's a better spot than, say, originally on paper what CJ Stroud had to work with. Now, I will say the Texans complimenting their rookie quarterback with a great young receiver core. Awesome job by that front office, and I can't applaud them enough. But if you're Chicago, what I would do is that you're not in a spot right now to where you can pass up on a prospect like Caleb Williams. If he's there and you're picking, it needs to be the pick. Whether Fields is the guy or not, you can have them compete. Fields can be that bridge guy if you really want, because he's only going to be in his 4th year. And then at that point you let him go. You could trade him, do whatever you want when you're ready for Caleb Williams to take that role. And then what's important to me is what you do with that number 2 pick. And Matt, I've said this in the group chat several times and everything as well. I think this is such a great draft class to trade out of the number 2 pick. I think that this is such a valuable pick because you've got so many quarterbacks that are coming up and talked about, where there are so many teams in the league right now that need one. I would even put the Steelers in that, group of teams that need a quarterback. Kenny Pickett is not really doing that great. You've got the Commanders that are looking at Sam Howell like, dude, you just threw 4 interceptions in one game. Like, I need something. You've got the Raiders right now where Jimmy Garoppolo is going through health problems as he normally has, and they might be looking to add somebody. I mean, those 3 teams, let alone Arizona or whoever else is in that same boat. I mean, you're looking at teams that definitely could use a Drake May or whoever else is available after the scouting combine and projected in those top 5 picks. Now, Marvin Harrison is very convincing and very, just very attractive when it comes to prospect, value. But looking at this, developing your team later on in the rounds and gathering as much draft capital as possible in this situation is just a no-brainer to me. I think that, you can get your quarterback and everything. You can get a wide receiver, cough, Brennan Rice. I think that he would be huge later on in the rounds. I'm watching more and more of his stuff, and I know that he might not be first round stuff, but like this is a good player to kind of look out for your scouting report if you're looking at later rounds. But if you're looking forward to, other wide receivers and stuff, which is not as big of a need as a D lineman, if you're trading back, you can get Olu, you can get several other different guys that can make that difference for you. And because of that, I don't think we should use a number 2 pick at number 2. We should use it for leverage to trade it out. It just makes too much sense. But so many people want that Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison connection, and it makes a lot of sense. But what if we didn't? Like, there's a lot more. I don't know if you agree with that take or not. I've seen a lot of people disagree with me here, but this just makes too much sense to me. This is a Ryan Poles move. I don't know. What do you think?
It leads back to my whole thing where it's like, I want dudes, like talking about Brian Burns, more than picks, because I don't know what picks are. but it's not like you guys don't have a guy. It's not like you are the Panthers and your number one receiver is Thielen or DJ Chark. You have DJ Moore. You know,
Yep.
he's a bona fide dude and a bona fide guy, so it doesn't put you in a spot where you're pressured to go, I have to have Marvin Harrison. In the world of football nowadays, you want as many guys as you can get. So if you do end up with the number 1 and the number 2, it's really hard to pass up. But I got to see the offers, you know. I got to see what teams are looking to trade. If the Cardinals are looking to trade you 2 top 15 picks and they're one next year, you have to think about it and go, man, that's a lot of capital and that's a lot of players we could potentially hit on that doesn't have to be a receiver, which we don't really need, essentially.
I mean, just re-sign Mooney at this point, right? So, I mean, there's several different conversations we had.
It's not like you don't have guys yet.
We talked about it in the offseason a lot compared, you know, do you re-sign Claypool or do you re-sign Mooney? And it's more obvious than ever right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you can re-sign Mooney, I would say $9 million a year isn't really too outlandish for him. I think that reasonable price, sign him for maybe 2 or 3 years, see what you can do. I mean, Darnell Mooney, let me look at his age really quick.
Because Christian Kirk really threw a whole wrench in receiver market value. Because, I mean, just the Jaguars just wanted a guy. And I would say if you could get him 3 years for $42 million, $39 million, so $13 a year, would you do it?
It'd be interesting.
You got to think you're the Bears. You got to think you're the Bears. You have to pay a higher price because you're a worse of a team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's really interesting here. So I would consider it for sure. It all just depends on his health going forward in 2023. If he can stay healthy and he does really well, then sure. But I mean, I'm looking at, you know, options here, and I will say it's not really great for that wide receiver free agent class. It's headlined by Mike Evans, but then it drops off to, you know, OBJ.
Do you want me to read you some names?
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. You know, you got, I mean, Marquise Brown's attractive, but odds are he gets traded at the deadline and he gets extended. Or, you know, you look at Calvin Ridley, who, I mean, more than likely will be extended. You've got Michael Pittman, who should be extended, but I mean, if he's not, then
30.
absolutely.
Calvin Ridley's 30.
But yeah, I mean, overall though, you know, you're looking at Michael Pittman, and that would probably be the most attractive player to me. But anything else is just out the window. You know, you're looking at the Gabe Davises, the KJ Osbornes, you know, and it's all wide receiver 2, you know, categories. So you're not getting very big names for cheap, you know what I mean? And so looking at Darnell Mooney at $13 million a year, I would take that for sure. But it all just depends on if he's healthy or not. You know, if he tweaks something, the value is going down a lot. But I think that Chicago really likes him, and I think it would send a message directly to Justin Fields, no matter what he can do. Because I think if Justin Fields wants to save his job this year, he needs to win a few games and play like almost a top 5 quarterback. That's it. Once they're out of Caleb Williams territory, that his job becomes more and more secure. But it all comes down to the defense, and that's another thing. They've got a lot of cap space and everything like that going into 2024. It's going to be a very interesting offseason, you know, wide receiver or not. But that just proves your point, though. I mean, you know, you're drafting your top 2 picks in the draft, let alone in your arsenal at 2 positions that aren't necessarily positions of need, when you could trade back and get something like a D lineman or something like that that would absolutely help your team. I absolutely agree. But in conclusion, we both agree that it's not Justin Fields. It's strictly the coaching staff. And once they lose this week, because we all agree that they will, it's over. It's over. And that season is summed up in 5 easy weeks of congratulations, you're screwed. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hopefully you can get a quarterback mind in the room that really knows what he's doing. because I feel like they brought in Luke Getsy because he was around the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He wasn't really a voice in Aaron Rodgers' ears, but he was talking to Aaron Rodgers, so we should bring him in. You know.
We haven't had, or no, I'll say this. Out of the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 head coaches that we've hired, only one of them has had head coaching experience before, and that was John Fox.
Yeah.
The rest of them, where you're looking at coordinators and everything, and I saw a take on Twitter that I love. If you're going to bring in a new guy, make sure he's experienced or experienced around a championship winning offense. Otherwise, we shouldn't be hiring him. So it's going to be exciting. I'm hearing rumors and rumblings around Chicago saying that if they don't win, Matt Eberflus will be out, and they are confident in bringing in another guy and getting a new system in that mini bye that we've talked about previously. You're talking that Thursday night game all the way to that next Sunday.
You're saying if they lose, it's done. It's over. You're saying
if they lose,
out
it's
the
done.
building?
He's done. That's the rumor right now, is that he's
Wow.
done. They did several different camera shots. I don't know if you watched the Bears game, but they did several different camera shots to, Ryan Poles' his box, and there were people that were sitting there like mind blown at the decisions that the coaches were making, such as the 4th and 1 call, that just did not end very well. So ultimately, I think it's done. I think Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. I think it definitely didn't help that the front office had 3 guys that they were fully like, we want to pre-select our coaching before we select our GM, and so Ryan Poles was kind of forced to kind of put somebody in play. I'm biased here though. Why not throw Lovie Smith back in? Put him in some Bears. Give him a Bears polo and a hat. Let's make this thing work.
I mean, listen. Irsay did it for Saturday to get butts in seats. I would not hate the idea if you brought in Lovie Smith to just
When I tell you, I would buy a December ticket in the cold, do it. I mean, no matter what it is, I will go and see the Bears play the Cardinals like the day before Christmas in that Chicago Bear weather, if it means Lovie Smith is our head coach as well. So, it's bold, I know. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to our last segment of the night.
It's time for America's favorite game, Weddle.
All right, so let's go ahead and play a quick game of Weddle. Everybody knows the rules, and if you don't, you should. It's a fun game. Don't mind the weird advertisements that they've got pulled up for me. It's super weird. Anyway, yeah, here we go. So, Matt, you're the guest. Would you like to go first? Easy mode, we help each other out. Hard mode, we're against each other. Doesn't count for anything.
Yeah, I see. I'm going to... Aaron Rodgers. I just see his name. Just wanted to pick him.
Turd. Let's see.
It's an awful
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna go Sky Moore.
Ooh. Plays receiver. In the NFC. He's 6 foot. He's in the middle. He's not old, but he's not young. In the NFC. Puka Nacua. Oh. He's 6'2". Man.
NFC West, so we're talking Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, and Seahawks. DK. It's got to be DK. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's 25, yeah. So he's 6 foot. He's in the West. The Cardinals or the Niners? Is it Brandon Ayuk? Is that who it is?
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Awesome. So hard mode. All right, here we go. Matt, you can do the honors again.
Oh, I get to go first again.
How nice of you, know, right? Taysom Hill. NFC South.
Defense.
All right. Let's see. Brian Burns. We talked about him. Ooh. Okay.
He's a linebacker. He's 25. Atlanta linebacker. Is it just Devin White? Like, do I just Devin White? Wow.
Wow.
All right. Well,
Killed me. Holy
well,
crap.
that was fun. That was good. Good job.
Matt, thank you for coming on the show today, man. Do you have any closing statements before we finish up here?
I'm bummed. I'm bummed Ben is not here. I wanted to talk college football with him. OU, Texas, Hook'em Horns this weekend. Big game for Texas. I mean, if you're a college football fan, get up at 11 and go watch that game and just think of me while you're doing it as I'm curled up in a ball, nervous watching that football game. But that's really it. I appreciate you wanting me to come on and talk.
Absolutely.
Talk some ball. Love talking ball,
Yeah. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow because we got to watch that absolute dumpster fire together. One way or another. It's going to be great. I might make some burgers or something like that. It'd be, a special occasion. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we want to thank Regional Radio Sports Network, Uppercuts Grooming, and Spotify for Podcasters for helping us grow as a podcast. And we've got a special offer for everybody. It's down in the description. If you want to create live streams just like this, check out our StreamYard link down below in the description to help create your own there. It's going to be lots of fun, so I would definitely recommend it there. It allows us to kind of create and do what we love on a week-to-week basis. So anybody that wants to give it a shot, it's down in our description. Thank you guys for tuning into the Pigskin Project, and until next week, we will see you guys later.